Hi, it's time to review the very first episode of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars Season 3. This is Nick's Nerd Network, and I'm Nick.
And I'm not.
So we're back again for the very first episode with my friend Jay.
Hello.
He's back. And so I first wanted to start talking about the beginning of the episode. I really like that Alaska and Chad were both a part of it this time. Chad was in it last time, but it was kind of just like a comedy gag of him trapped in the Hall of Drag Race Hall of Fame. But I like the whole Handmaid's Tale thing that they're doing this season. I've never seen the show, so I kind of feel like I need to watch it now. Have you watched it ever?
I have never even heard of it until I saw them dressed up in the red capes and the bonnets. That was hilarious. I was not expecting that.
So to you, it probably seemed like an original thing.
I guess. I mean, I was not expecting that, and they were pretty funny. So it's definitely like a good little like comedic, like cameo each episode. Hopefully.
Yeah, I hope they do more with that. So another thing that I really liked so far, at least with being on the channel that it's on, it's kind of like the commercials around it are very much. It feels like the Super Bowl, like the Taco Bell commercials, were on point and really funny. And there was commercials that were hinting and talking about Drag Race and like using some of their catchphrases in it. So
well, at first I wasn't even paying attention, and then I started watching the commercial, and I was like, is this like for a movie, an action movie? Yeah. And they were like, it's a commercial for Taco Bell. I was like, what?
I always like a good pun, so I liked I like the salty comments and all that good stuff. But no, I really, the only downside I would say is that gross Skittles commercial was on over and over and over again. Yeah. But no, it really, really felt like this was kind of like a game day or something like that. I mean, whatever sports are like, I don't watch them, so. Yeah. But it felt like what a sports game.
Well, drag is now a mainstream sport, apparently.
It really, I think it's going to be in the Olympics.
Okay.
All right, so the first thing I wanted to kind of talk about is the very first mini challenge. We had the reading challenge right out of the gate, which is just like last year's All-Stars, or I guess 2 years ago. So who did you think? Did you agree with RuPaul that BenDeLa was the strongest? Did you have other opinions?
No, her burns were definitely by far the best out of all of them. My favorite though was when Milk said to Shangela. He said, "I thought your name was Angela," and they were just telling you to shh. That was amazing.
I loved it. I do feel a majority of the queens were kind of weak in the reading challenge. I heard some like the Black and Decker thing that's been used before. Yeah. I thought some of them could have come up with more original material. I did feel a little bit bad though for BenDeLa because they were really coming for her and her not being around. I don't really remember her disappearing off the face of the earth, but I was kind of a late Drag Race baby boomer, so I guess I don't know what was happening to her after season 6.
Well, I mean, if you watch the episode where RuPaul was introducing the season 3 girls, they did show BenDeLa Creme doing a lot of her own like Broadway shows in Seattle and around that area. Okay. So she hasn't been really in the drag spotlight, but she's been doing like a lot of theater and musical, Broadway stuff back in her town. So that's probably why the queens were like, well, where have you been? Gotcha. So she was doing her own thing.
That makes sense. I feel like those still they could have come up with a little more creative to go for BenDeLa. I mean, she is perfect, but I mean, she's not perfect. She's not beyond criticism.
She's very good.
But yeah, I agree. She was the strongest. I thought Trixie got some really good digs in.
Yes.
I thought that Aja actually did a really good job too.
She did. I was surprised. Yeah.
But yeah, with the reading, I agree. BenDeLa, she did the best. I'm glad she won the mini challenge. All right, so let's talk about the talent show. So first off, I'm really glad that they're doing this talent show for the beginning again because it's great that they're allowing the queens to show what they've accomplished and how far they've come and how they've developed their style. Because that's the one complaint we hear throughout all of the regular seasons is how like, this is just me, this is my aesthetic, you don't get it. So this is their chance to showcase what it is they do best outside of the regular challenges. Wouldn't you agree?
I would definitely agree with that. The first one to go in it was Shangela, and during the RuPaul reveal, they showed her like she has her own dance crew in her hometown. She's doing her thing, and her performance tonight, she came on that stage and she owned it. She worked every single part of that stage. She came out there dancing. I mean, she's improved so much since her appearance on season 2.
I mean, I have to completely disagree because she didn't bring the corn with her, and she sets a certain expectation for me, and she didn't live up. No, I'm kidding. I thought she did a really good job. I really liked her lip sync. The one thing I will say is a lot of the queens were doing lip syncs this episode, so I think that she really needed to kind of like bring something else to it to wow us a little bit more. I mean, I think if it was just lip syncing, then she owned it, but I think that she could have done it in a more competitive way, been more unique about it, because there were so many queens doing the exact same thing.
But in her defense, she was the first person to perform, so she didn't get to sit on the side and see what the other queens are doing.
They discussed it in the workroom prior, because Trixie even made the same comment, like all these queens are doing the exact same thing.
But it's still different though from like talking about it before actually going on the stage and doing it. Like just that being that first person to perform,
yeah,
it can go good or go bad, and it went very well for her. She did very well.
That's true. I mean, you just want to think about like if multiple people are doing the same thing, you want to do the better version of that. So right. I think that she should have thought about it a little bit more. But I agree. I did think she did a good job.
She set the stage. I mean, she went out there. She started. In my opinion, she started strong.
All right. So next up was Bibi Zahara, right?
The Lion King.
Yes, the Lion King. It did remind me, and like in a good way. Like I thought it was really artistic. I thought it was a really great representation of culture. I just thought it was like really, really, really cool. And I will say, like, she came out barefoot, so I felt a little bit bad.
Yeah, that.
Like, I see where it was part of her performance, and I get that. But if they're going to read Chi-Chi for that, they should have read her for it, too. But I don't personally have a problem with it. I thought it went well with what she was doing.
Well, I mean, for this to be All-Stars, coming out there barefoot is inexcusable. She should have been not safe at all, but...
Well, we'll see. I mean, I think that if she wasn't safe, she would have been a high target because, like, being that she's won already, a lot of the queens aren't going to warm up to that. Yeah, I mean, I see it both ways. I see what you were saying earlier about her not having the same opportunities as the other queens to be seen from, like, this new generation of Drag Race fans. But at the same time, she has kind of already won the title. I mean, I agree that she deserves a second chance. I don't think she's very likely that she's going to make it very far because of that target on her back.
You'd be surprised. It's still early in the season.
That's true. You never know. So let's talk about Thorgy's performance. What were your thoughts?
I liked it because it was different compared to everybody else. I mean, it's a variety show, and she was one of the few that didn't do a lip sync or, dancing in those one, like the guitars, whatever you call them. She got read for, being a little reserved, but I thought she did very well. I mean, she came out there, she started playing a song. I didn't realize that she was playing Sissy That Walk until they mentioned it during the critiques.
I didn't get that either.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought that I thought her entire piece was going to be her just standing there in the middle of the stage playing, and she was done. But no, she came out, she moved around a little bit, she did a cartwheel holding a violin. I mean, that was really, really impressive. But I mean, it's not, to me, it was good, but it wasn't as memorable for me as it was for the other performances tonight.
Yeah, I think I'm really glad that she did something different than the other queens, and she really did what we expect and have wanted to. We wanted to see that from her because she talked about it on season 8, how much she wanted to incorporate classical music into her drag. I guess my main critique is it kind of felt like a slow warm-up where it took a little bit too long for her to get to the part where she starts running around and dancing a little bit more.
It was like Peppermint lip syncing in season 9, like 3/4 of the song, and then she does her reveal and she wins the lip sync or whatever that was about. But yeah, it was something like that.
I don't want to open that box because Trinity. But yeah, it was very much like that, except for, yeah. So I think that she did a good job. I think that she's just going to need to kind of turn it up a notch if she wants to compete with the rest. I mean, she doesn't want to end up playing second fiddle to another comedy queen like she did before. So I don't want to see a bitter Thorgy Thor this season. So I'd like to see her do well. So Aja was next.
Yeah.
How did you feel about Aja's performance?
I loved it. She came out there and she was just high energy from the minute she walked on that stage until the minute she jumped off that box into a death drop. Amazing. I loved it. I mean, she kept taking off bits and pieces of her outfit, doing little reveals and just high energy the whole way through.
Yeah, I agree. I think that her lip syncing style has evolved so much since her season, and it really reminded me a combination of Nina Bonina Brown meeting Roxy Andrews. Yeah. It seemed very seductive a little bit, but at the same time, lots of rapid moving bendings of the joints, just very flashy. It was really cool. I loved the jump into the death drop. A lot of the queens have been speculating, what are the new queens going to have to do now? What are we going to have to live up to after this next season? What crazy thing to do? So now we have to jump off of cliffs and do death drops and splits apparently now. So I don't envy the rest of them. I just hope that Aja doesn't rely too much on that in her lip sync. We've seen that with queens in the past where just death drop after death drop after death drop. So, no, I thought she did awesome. I was really impressed. Kennedy Davenport.
The only thing I remember about her performance was she did a side flip onto a box and landed up there. And I remember seeing Michelle Visage. She was she just freaked out. But no, she kind of the same thing with Aja. Kennedy's very high energy, very, dancey. She walks up on the stage and she's moving around all over the stage from the minute she walks up there until the minute she's done with the number she's doing. She's a very good performer, and I think that she has a lot to show this season.
I think, I guess the best way to kind of talk about her is to kind of compare it to Aja's performance, where Aja's felt very much like a sprint. She very quickly built up and got to one big main central part of her performance, which is the jumping split. The rest was good, but it was one big surprise at the end, where Kennedy's was more of a marathon, where she was doing really impressive things that we have not seen before throughout the entire thing. So I thought that played hugely in her it played a lot to her benefit, because she was just consistently wowing us over and over and over again. So yeah. That was really strong of her. I liked that a lot.
I agree.
Let's see. Bendela Creme was next.
So when she walked out on that stage, the first thing I thought of was when Roxy did her burlesque performance last All Stars. Mm-hmm. But Bendela's performance was so comedic, and I loved the little Russian bra dolls, more tassels, and they were in different places. It was hilarious. It was amazing. Even Michelle, I kept watching Michelle Visage's response, and it was, she loved it. They all loved it, but yeah, she did very, very well.
I think this episode made me more and more excited to see her in person coming up. The best way I could describe her performance, I was cracking up the whole time. I was almost to tears. I didn't get it at first when she first came out. I was like, what is she doing?
Yeah.
With this janky ass bra. But then it was great. It was kind of like Three Stooges meets burlesque is the best way I could think to describe it.
Or Lucille Ball even, kind of.
Yeah, that's a good... Oh, she should have did a... someone needs to do her for Snatch Game.
Yeah.
She's great. All right. Chi Chi DeVayne.
Ooh.
Yeah. I would say it felt very middle school compared to the rest. I really liked segments of her performance. Her look I really thought was spot on, but it was kind of everything but the kitchen sink, but everything was...
I mean, her vision was there. It just, the execution was not. It was not done very well. I mean, she had a baton and then she didn't have it. She didn't do much with it, and then she...
It almost never left her hand.
Yeah, and she almost kept, she kept pushing her hair out of her face, the entire time. If you're going to do, a fast-moving performance and you're going to be all over the stage, wear a wig where it's not going to be, a hurdle for you to keep out of your face so that, you can be there for your audience.
And her dress and ensemble, it looked good, but it was so much dangly pieces and parts that didn't look good.
She looked like a majorette for a marching band.
She did. Which it went along with her performance a little bit, but it was weak compared to the rest of the queens. I feel for her because I know she is capable of more, but it didn't seem like she put her best foot forward in this kind of competition where there's so many good queens and fan favorites. You cannot afford to mess up like that.
Definitely. Not for All Stars 3.
No. Morgan McMichaels.
Oh. Yeah, she did not come into the competition with the best attitude. It kind of felt like she was just there to ruffle feathers and stir things up between the other queens. Her performance, I mean, she came out, it was a good start, but then she just kind of like, it was almost like she was trying to like read the queens off to the side, you know, because they were in the audience off to the side. She just kept looking at them when she was saying, sashay away, or whatever she was saying to them. Like, it's just like, you know, just come out there and entertain RuPaul and the audience and show them what you have to offer. Don't come out there trying to be, you know, this bitchy queen towards the other queens. That's not what this is about. So, I mean, I was impressed with her performance. I'm not impressed with what she's shown us so far.
I thought it started off very strong. I liked it at the beginning, and it reminded me a lot of Tatiana's spoken word. Mm-hmm. But it quickly fizzled out where it was just like kind of her saying the same things over and over again. Why you mad though? Why you mad though? And then just going into like, it really felt more like she was performing for the queens, not for the judges. Agreed. And you don't want to ignore your audience. It's kind of like when you go to a party and it's somebody else. It's it's RuPaul's birthday party, but you see your other friends and you just hang out with them the whole time. Like, it wasn't professional of her, and I think she kind of got lost in the performance.
I agree.
So Trixie.
Trixie's performance. I'm glad somebody woke me up in time to see the next one.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding. Not, kind of. I mean, it was good because she was playing an instrument herself. But just compared to what the other queens were doing, it wasn't high energy. It wasn't memorable for me. It was like kind of like a country song.
Yeah. Not
my favorite genre of music. But I don't know. It's just I wasn't that impressed with Trixie tonight.
I like that she did something different, and I get that she's talented, but I'm kind of seeing the same pattern that I saw when she was in her season 7. Like, I've seen so much greatness from her outside of her season, but it's kind of like what I said in the last episode, where she really needs that like other person to play off of and bounce back off of. And I think without Katya, not that she's relying on Katya or she's the talent, she's not. They're both very talented, but they bounce off of each other well. And I think she needs to find that and do some group challenges in order to succeed, because she does play well with others. I think that this was kind of the same critique type performance that Ginger Minj got called out on in All Stars 2, because it was, compared to everyone else, it was very low energy. And even though it was she was very talented, it just didn't outshine everybody else. So I'm actually really surprised Trixie wasn't in the bottom. I thought I want to see her do well, but I was surprised she wasn't in the bottom of this challenge. Milk.
So Milk is my favorite. I've said it a few times now.
He's very pretty.
I liked his performance tonight. It was different. It was high energy. I liked that he had props. I mean, it wasn't what other people were saying in our group that was watching it together, but I thought it was cool. It was fun. I mean, I liked it, so that's my opinion on it.
I mean, Milk's very pretty.
Yes.
I like the performance a lot. I really liked the whole paper doll dress up kind of thing. I wish he would have done a little bit something different with it. He could have done like something with the Barbie song or something else relation to a doll. I thought it was really creative, but it's kind of like what I talked about with him earlier. Is he's very much like, this is art. It's pretty. Look at it.
Wasn't that his song though that he performed?
I think it was. Yeah, I think it might have been his song. It's kind of like, this is pretty art. Look at it, but it's not as high energy, and it's strange because he gives us such high energy in the workroom or when he's interacting with the other queens. But then a lot of times when I see him on stage, it's like, I'm modeling, I'm walking, I'm like, I wish to see more of him on stage, because I feel like the judges don't get to see a lot of that.
Yeah.
So overall, who do you think was your favorite out of just based on the challenge itself?
I think that I would say Bed in the Creme. Like, it was funny the whole way through and entertaining, and it was really, really well done. So I would have to say by far she was my favorite one tonight.
Yeah, she was definitely my favorite as well. I mean, I already love her to death. She's one of my favorites in general. And I was so worried that she was going to, like, not that I doubted her, but I was afraid something was going to happen to put her in the bottom and then get her voted off really, really quickly. So I'm so happy that she's made a strong stance. She, like, pissed on the stage. She marked her territory. And she's really set the tone for the season. Yeah. And I'm glad. I mean, Thorgy's probably going to be pissed because she's going to be playing second fiddle to the best comedy.
Yeah, she's going to be her nemesis for this season.
I love you, Thorgy, but just don't let that get to you. All right, so we're back to talk about the elimination, and we have a late arrival. This is my friend Elias.
Hello.
Say hello to the camera. Not to me.
Hello.
All right, so let's talk about the eliminations. So Vendela was in the top, and Aja was in the top. I mean, I agree with both of those choices. Is there anyone else that you guys thought should have been in the top?
No, I think they both deserve to be in the top.
I think they both deserved it. I would maybe have put Kennedy ahead of Aja, but I definitely agree with Vendela being in the top. But I thought they both did a really good job. So we go back to the judges are retiring while the queens go back to deliberate, and I love that. I love that Vanessa is gonna have to lip sync for her life against the pork chop. So that was pretty good. I love the little things that they're doing to keep the poor judges occupied.
Well,
since they don't
on a
work
side note, Nick doesn't know who Pork Chop is from season 1, so they actually had Pork Chop on a plate on the stage, and Vanessa was lip syncing against the Pork Chop on a plate.
You mean that wasn't Pork Chop
No,
from season 1?
sorry.
No.
Oh.
But it was hilarious.
I mean, in Pork Chop's defense, the one on the stage tonight had better makeup on than you did tonight.
If you notice that I have makeup on, thanks to the light shade thrown to me by my friends, I have a Comic-Con that I'm doing tomorrow morning, and I was practicing my eyeliner tonight because I'm really bad at it, and as you can see, I could not get it wiped all the way off. So I will not be competing on Drag Race anytime soon because I'm not good at makeup. So let's get back on topic. So, back in the deliberation, Vendela and Aja are in the top. They have to decide who goes home. Morgan's in the bottom, and so is Chi-Chi DeVayne. Do you guys agree with those choices for the bottom?
Absolutely.
Yes, I agree.
Absolutely. Sorry, had to. So yeah, I agree with them. I think that Trixie was probably close to the bottom, even though I love her to death. I didn't think her performance was as out there and attention getting as some of the other ones, but I do agree the two in the bottom should have been in the bottom. So what do you guys think? I mean, Morgan was shooting her mouth off earlier in the episode about wanting to send competition home. What do you think about the position she's in now, Jay?
I mean, she's put herself in there. She pretty much painted a big old bullseye right on her back. I mean, she came in there spitting off about, if I'm in the top, I'm going to send home the strongest girl. I mean, if you walk in there saying that out loud and you're rubbing queens the wrong way, your ass is going home. You're packed. Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like she put herself in that situation. I'm like, if that's what you're thinking, don't say it out loud.
That's not strategic. That's stupid.
No, it's not
You're
strategic
a
at
seasoned
all.
queen. You should know better than that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think she put herself in some hot water there, and I mean anyone would be stupid not to call that into question because, yeah, I could save you this time, but you're just going to put me in the bottom next time. And I think that's the realization that Vendela came to. She said that herself. Like, I don't believe that if I help you out, even though I think you didn't do as bad as Chi-Chi did, I think that you could just easily just send me home for no reason next time. So I think I agree with that. So with the lip sync, Vendela won the lip sync. Did anyone disagree with that?
It was hilarious. She put a comedic spin on, what was the song again?
Anaconda.
Oh my gosh.
Anaconda.
Her aneurysms, her movements, everything that she did for that song.
Did you say mannerisms or aneurysms?
Aneurysms.
Okay. I was like, she had an aneurysm?
Maybe, maybe that's why she won. But anyway, just the way that she was like moving around the whole song. Because to be honest with you, I thought the way that Aja's lip sync went tonight with her, with her performance for the variety show, that high energy, I thought maybe she was going to maybe win. But when I couldn't stop looking at Vendela during the lip sync, I was surprised. Like, I was pleasantly surprised.
No, I think they both went in it like really good with just completely different styles, and I think what kind of hurt Aja is like hers was so in tune to the song that it was kind of like what we were already expecting.
It was too mainstream.
It was too mainstream. It kind of reminded me of season 9 where Pheromone did Dolly Parton's song. I forget which song she did, but it was like she was using a lot of the same moves and things. So it was like, oh, this isn't that exciting. This is kind of just like watching a cover of the song.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think they both did great, but Vendela definitely did better.
Yeah.
She stole that song.
I mean, they were both amazing, and they were both fun to watch, but Vendela just
I laughed the whole
hit
time.
it. Yeah.
She was choking.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
So good. Yeah. So Vendela wins, and she gets to decide who goes home. She decides on Morgan McMichaels. So I think that was the right choice. She vocalized like, hey guys, I don't think Morgan did the worst. We all decided that we were going to vote off who did the worst. Unfortunately, I don't feel like she's going to stick with that, and we're all in danger if she's allowed to stay in the competition. So it's in all of our best interest to send her home. And I agree. I 100% agree. Do you think that's going to cause her problems throughout the rest of the competition?
I mean, it depends on how the other queens perceived her decision.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously Morgan walked in there like just blasting what her strategy was going to be. So maybe the queens all thought, oh, that this was a good choice because she was going to do the same to you, or she might do the same to us. So I think that they'll all be in agreement with her decision.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we'll have to wait till next week to see what their reactions are.
I mean, Aja seemed a little bit offended by that decision.
Well, her and Aja were like best friends, though. I mean,
Morgan and Aja, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. Aja might be a little miffed by that, but that's part of the game.
But we won't know who she chose until next week.
I mean,
if she reveals
I think
it.
Aja would have been foolish not to choose Morgan based on what Morgan was saying before, because, I mean, Aja did extremely well this challenge, which if Morgan was still in the game, is going to put a huge target on her back. So it'd be foolish for her not to send Morgan home. But I could see her sending Chi-Chi home as well. I thought Chi-Chi performed pretty weak. Honestly, I didn't see much difference between now and what she was giving us in season 8. Yeah. It was still kind of that like low-key, make some excuses, that kind of thing. I do like her a lot. I really do, but I don't think she was bringing it. I hope to see a change, but I don't know if we will.
No.
Well, what do you guys think about the structure so far? Do you like that they're doing kind of the same formula as All Stars 2?
I do. I like that a lot. I think it worked
for
All Stars 2, and I think it's going to work now.
No, I agree. I liked it in All Stars 2. I'm glad there's no clear alliances, because I think that's what really caused it to fail in All Stars 2, was the Laskatox situation.
Yeah.
So I think this year it's set up more fairly. There's going to be some back and forth. There's going to be sometimes the best competition is going to be sent home, and sometimes it's going to be done based on the critiques. So we'll see. It's gonna make it more unpredictable.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of the end of the episode where Morgan was doing her sign off?
Well, obviously they're going to do some twist to it because RuPaul chimed in at the end when she was giving her farewell speech, and the part with Chad and Alaska in the background and the red capes and the bonnets. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Something's gonna come up with that. There's gonna be some situation with that.
I wonder if Alaska and Chad are gonna somehow play into that whole like twist. Like maybe they'll be a part of like some sort of like panel where they'll get to decide who comes back in the competition or something. I don't know. I mean,
I would love to see some of the former winners be judges.
I would. I think that's a great idea. I always thought they should do that.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens next, and I have to say, RuPaul does evil so well. Like her evil laugh, and like we saw when she was playing like the evil queen for the Princess Challenge last season, and other instances, like, she needs to play a villain somewhere. She would do great.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's all I have for this episode. This is Nick's Nerd Network, and I'm Nick signing off. And this is Jay and Elias. We'll see you guys next week. I can't wait to see what happens next. All right, let's say bye, guys.
Bye. Bye.
If you like this episode of Nick's Nerd Network, please like and subscribe. If you have different opinions or would like to share some of your ideas, please share these in the comment section below. Please keep it constructive and friendly. Thanks so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.